All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I am going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I'm Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we have got a bunch of chatterers already here in the stream, I see. So let's scroll up, because I was taking a really long time to get online, because you see, I had to fix my coffee. I had extra coffee and I had to make it palatable. So I am drinking out of my Super Suckers pint glass. Super Suckers, for those of you who don't know, one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the world. In fact, actually, according to the Super Suckers, they are the greatest rock and roll band in the world. That is the title of one of their albums. But we're not here to talk about Super Suckers. We're here to talk about pretty much everything else. So I want to say hey to Terry in Scotland. Thank you for rating in with 3 people. Katie's Aura and Penel Writes Things coming on in. Mama Sean on that there YouTube side, which is phenomenal. And we've got Rick and Darlene coming in from that there Midwest. In fact, Darlene has given us a bit of a topic for today. And Pacola T in the house, also a topic for the day. I was going to ask you all the question of the hour, the question of the day, the question of the month, the question of the year, and they always have different answers. Where in the world is Pacola T? That will be something I have to share with all y'all. If you've got guesses already, you can. If you don't have guesses, that's okay. I've got pictures to give you some clues. All right, so it looks like Terry in Scotland had his telephone consultation today. Much news. Very hopefully good news. Terry, let's find out what Terry has to say in just a little bit. But before we do that, why don't we get the party started? Boop. All right, there we go. Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday coming in saying aloha, everybody, just as the party gets started. And Terry in Scotland threw down that 1,000 biddies. Thank you so much, Terry. That is super awesome. All right, you guys. So last Sunday, I totally lied to you. I mean, it wasn't a lie when I told you. I really thought it was true. Apparently, Andy Bumatai did not have a stream yesterday. I told you he would. I waited for it. I even left work early to make sure I could get home in time for it. All y'all, I'm sure you knew. I didn't. I was clueless. So he did not have a show yesterday. He might have one on Friday. I don't know. But I do know that I have a show today, and I'm glad that all y'all are here. And Rick bragging, we finally have that perfect summer weather. Rick, you know, I don't know. I'm super glad that you and Darlene had it, because your winter or summer has been kind of wonky. Here in the Pacific Northwest, I dare say that we are not having perfect summer weather, according to the vast majority of people. But for me, it got to be 72 today. 72! And that, my friend, is the perfect summer weather. Now, some folk might argue that in August, it should be warmer. And I would say, no. I think that right now we have got the perfect summer weather as well. But I also know most people wouldn't agree. Yeah. And Rick, you did the same thing except for leaving work. There you go. And Penel, she has got the damp and rainy, which frankly isn't ideal summer weather, but for someone like me who enjoys the rain, it is ideal summer weather. I hope, Penel, that you are enjoying your damp and raininess. And oh my God, we have a hype train somehow because people, I guess, resubscribed and everything. I didn't even notice that, and we're already almost done with it. Thank you so much, you guys. Terry reached your 445 stream streak. Cool. And let's see here. All right, so Terry, the surgeon said your cancer was, hold on, high grade but non-invasive. I don't know what that means. He recommends the following treatment after another scrape. Well, yuck. But good. Non-invasive is always good. And if I remember correctly, although I don't know, obviously, the details of yours, nor do I remember the details of my uncle's, but my uncle lived for years upon years dealing with with bladder cancer. So I'm assuming his was non-invasive as well. So, I guess if you're going to have one, non-invasive is the kind to have. But it's best probably just have a doctor. Yeah, just do all the doctoring things to make sure it stays that way. So, high grade means it's top level dangerous. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Sort of like high grade cocaine, it's top level dangerous. All it takes is a little bit and you might overdose. So yeah, I had a feeling that wasn't good news. But non-invasive is definitely, is the key words here. Right? And a bacterial treatment for bladder cancer primarily involves Bacillus calmette-guerin, which none of those words I pronounced correctly. Maybe Bacillus. A weakened strain of Mycobacterium bovis, which is the only bacterial therapy approved for clinical use in this context. All right, there you go. It was 92, Trail Dust says, when I got off work today. Hold on, we're doing some things here. Let's see, 92 when I got off work today, down to 78 now. Welcome to frigid Minnesota. Yeah, see, that's the problem, Trail Dust. Frigid Minnesota goes from frigid Minnesota to hot, humid, get me out of here with the mosquitoes, Minnesota. And it seems like there might only be 2 days in Minnesota that are like, oh yeah, it's kind of chill. I'm pretty stoked about this. You are one tough guy, Trail Dust and Teeter and all of your aminals, and not only that, you're working in front of a hot iron every day, doing your blacksmithing stuff. I swear you probably lose about 10 pounds of liquid every day that you go out to work. And let's see here. So Terry's going on with more of his detailed thingamabops. Detailed medical plans is what the thingamabops I'm referring to are. Yes, indeedy. So a BCG is administered directly into the bladder, intravesical therapy via a catheter. Lovely. Typically after a transurethral resection of bladder tumor surgery to remove the visible cancer. This treatment is standard for high-risk, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer to prevent cancer recurrence and progression. BCG works as an immunotherapy by stimulating the body's immune system to attack cancer cells. Ooh! Okay, hold on. The treatment triggers an inflammatory response within the bladder, which helps to stop the tumor from returning. Research indicates that BCG therapy induces tumor-specific immunity, primarily dependent on the CD4 T cells, and requiring tumor-intrinsic interferon signaling, rather than just a response to the bacteria itself. Okay, I don't know what a lot of those words mean, but what I do know is, yay, that you're getting... All right. Let's try this one more time, shall we? Oh my God. The new immunotherapies for cancer treatment is, from what I understand, the most promising, exciting new line of cancer fighting in recent medical history. I am so stoked that you are getting treated like that, because it sounds like, I've obviously done only minimal research, really, but it sounds like it is so promising, and having your own body fighting it is, that is sort of the next wave of treatments that we're exploring here, and I think that's so cool that you are absolutely riding the crest of the wave of this new research. And so Terry continues, this mechanism leads to long-term immune memory against the tumor. The standard treatment protocol involves an initial induction phase of weekly installations for 6 weeks, followed by a maintenance phase of treatments every 3 months for 1 to 3 years to maximize effectiveness. Approximately 70% of patients achieve remission after BCG therapy. However, BCG is not without challenges. Recent years have seen difficulties with the availability of the drug, which can affect treatment. Well, yeah, duh. Well, hopefully they're not going to be... hopefully your doctors have access to the drugs. Yes, and now we're on level 2 hype train, you guys. I can't thank you so much. This is so awesome. Well, Terry, I'm really sorry that this is not, I'm sorry that you don't have a lower grade cocaine in your bladder. I'm sorry that the cocaine in your bladder is so high grade. Your cocaine really should just be nothing but cut, right? That's what you want. the cocaine in your bladder. You just want to keep it low grade. I'm very sorry that it is the high grade stuff, but I am stoked that you guys have. It sounds like a very high tech plan for battling the high grade stuff. And eMusic coming on in saying aloha to everybody. And Trail Dust, that's right. You take that shower break because I can smell you over here in Seattle. You go take that shower break. I'm Josh, and yeah, I can't smell nothing but my coffee. And let's see here. Darlene saying what I think we're all thinking. My fingers will be crossed, prayers said Terry, and hugs sent your way. I know it still be a trial still and uncomfortable for sure. Some pain, I'm sure. Take care. Yeah, it probably, I mean, you already went through the first phase of treatment, and it definitely sounded like it left you a little bit on the sore side. But sometimes the pain is worth the gain, as it were. Speaking of pains and gains, only this time not being really worth it. So you guys, do you remember, were you here on Sunday? Do you remember I was talking to you about stupid things that are collectible? They're called Labubus. I got one. I went and bought one. Pinnell, there's a YouTuber who tells everyone they smell wonderful. Oh, awesome. What a nice YouTuber. Me, on the other hand, I'm just an idiot YouTuber who's just spent some money on a Labubu. But no, Darlene, you don't understand. And Terry's asking, did I actually eat the abomination of a casserole I posted on Facebook? Yes and no. I still have about a quarter of it left. But yeah, I mean, it was my dinner. I eat it, dude. It was, once I ate it I made a very bad chicken enchilada casserole. It was overly seasoned. It had too much sauce. It didn't have enough tortilla. So once I added more tortilla and added the beans to it, it was fine. But we're not talking about that abomination. We're talking about a different abomination. We're talking about an abomination of sorts. Now, this one is actually not a Labubu. This one is a Lafufu. And if you remember, if you were here on Sunday, a Lafufu is the fake one. The Labubu is the real one. And I told you guys that my bodega down the street had a couple of them, but then they didn't. But then the other night, I was talking to the guy behind the counter, and I said, hey, are you guys going to get any more Labubus in? And he said, we've got some in back. I just don't have them out on the shelf. I've got 3 different kinds. And so he brings out the 3 different sets, and I wanted the Big Into Energy set. And so I said, I want the Big Into Energy. And as soon as I felt the box, I knew that it was fake. As soon as I saw the top of the box, I knew that it was fake. And as soon as I saw the side of the box, I knew that it was fake. Everything about this, you could tell, was fake. But I bought it anyway, knowing it was fake. And no, Rick, it's not a 10-tooth Labubu. It is a 9-tooth Labubu. And honestly, it is one of the best fakes I have seen. This is my Labubu, my Lafufu. This is my Lafufu. And the toenails are painted yellow, just like they're supposed to be. The one yellow tooth, just like it's supposed to be. And there's 9 teeth. This one is happiness. It came with a card and everything. Came with its little card that you can sort of see here. And there it is. And the only reason why you can really tell that it's fake is the eyes don't have glitter. They're flat colored. They don't have glitter in them the way the real ones are. And then this keychain is way too tiny. It should be like maybe this big instead of this big. If that makes sense. It should be bigger, not little. But anyway, I did the deed. And okay, so Mr. and Mrs. Aloha, you absolutely are coming in with a perfectly good question. What the Lafufu is this all about? Exactly. Okay, so there are dolls. Okay, where to begin? There's a store out of China called Pop Mart. And Pop Mart has basically infiltrated the United States, and pretty much every mall has either a Pop Mart store or a Pop Mart kiosk, or if not a kiosk, a vending machine. And within the vending machines, kiosks, stores, etc., they sell a bunch of cute little character things, stuffed toys, just it's cutesy. It's like kawaii. I don't know if you're familiar with the term kawaii, Kawaii, not the island of Kauai. Kawaii, it's a Japanese, it's so cute, but scary. Anyway, Labubu is a character that's been around. These monsters are called Labubus. They've been around for about a decade now, and Pop Mart sells little toy dolls of them that people who have way too much money on their hands hang on their designer bags. And part of the allure when you buy one, yes, Labubu is the Cabbage Patch doll of 2025. Basically, it's the Beanie Baby of 2025. It's just like all the other little stupid toy trends, right? But what makes this one a little bit different is when you buy one, you don't know what you're getting. You know that with each, there's different series, right? And let's see if I can get the... All right, here we go. So this one is called the Big Into Energy series. Big Into Energy series. And the options for the Big Into Energy series are these 6 ones here. But then there's also a secret one. And the secret ones are worth a whole lot of money. Right? So when people are buying them, they're either trying to buy the whole set of 6, and so they're trying to collect them all, or they're going for that secret one so they can like resell it for a fork ton of money. Or they're just trying to collect them because they collect them. Now, they're so popular that a fake one, right, exactly, sort of like an old style Cracker Jacks, right? You're going to see what comes in the box. Yeah, you don't know what the toy is, basically, right? So, these have become so popular that many companies have started making knockoffs, and the knockoffs are called Lafufus. And some of the Lafufus are really good. This is actually one of the best Lafufus I've seen. The ears aren't too far apart. Oftentimes the ears are too far apart. Sometimes the face is just so poorly painted. There's supposed to only be 9 teeth. A lot of times the Lafufus had 10 teeth, the fake ones. This one actually does have 9. There's all sorts of little ways you can tell real versus fake. For instance, a fake one, this is a fake one, and it's got this little mark. Let's see if we can see that mark. That mark means this is a fake Labubu, but if this foot didn't have anything on it, but then you flashed a black light on it, this mark would show up, right? So Labubus, the real ones from Pop Mart, cost $27.99. This one is a Lafufu, and it cost me $19.99. And I knew it was fake. I knew I was wasting $20 on a fake Labubu. I knew I was. And not only did I know from just because I knew because of the way the box felt, because the real ones have more of a texture. The regular ones are just smooth. But I also knew because the guy behind the counter told me, he's like, these aren't real. You know these aren't real, right? And I was like, yeah, I totally know they're not real. So I knew that this was fake. I had no problem with it. And honestly, I have to say, I don't mind it. It's kind of flippin' cute. It really is. And granted, I'm not going to keep it for a very long time. I'm probably going to randomly find some little kid or leave it someplace for a little kid to find it so they can, have it. But it's they kind of look like this, although this one's forehead is a little bit too big. But otherwise, it's actually a really cute fake. It's a good fake. And let's see here. I got some pretty rocks on the beach. Are they pet rocks? No, Pinnell, unless they came with a box and a leash and user instructions, they're not a pet rock. And by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, resellers are reselling Labubus that may or may not be real, but if they really guarantee they're real, sometimes they're reselling them for like $80 a pop because the boxes sell out so quickly that if you want a real Labubu, you basically have to time it right to get one, otherwise they're always sold out. And so resellers are taking advantage of that, and they're reselling Labubus, unopened boxes, for $80 instead of the $27.99. They're reselling them for like $50 instead of the $27.99. And so, how expensive are they? They can get really expensive. It depends on how much you want to pay. But if you want to buy them from the legit source, they're $27.99 plus tax and shipping. And Picola Tea is going to be back in 15 or 20 minutes, which means now is the perfect time to ask, where in the world, Mr. and Mrs. Lalover, that's LaFuFu'd Up. It is LaFuFu'd Up, especially since the people who say that they're selling the real ones sometimes aren't selling the real ones. And so you just paid $80 for a box that actually turned out to be fake. Whereas I paid $20 for a box that I knew would be fake. And Terry in Scotland, a Texas turd bird is a lacquered horse turd with feet, a beak, and multicolored tail. Gross. I've never seen that. I do have a jackalope, though. Y'all know what jackalopes are, right? I actually have a jackalope. I went jackalope hunting when I was in Wyoming, and I got one, and I had I had paid extra to have the head mounted. For real. Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe not. All right, so do we want to see where Picola Tea is? Can we guess? You have a jackalope too? Awesome, Darlene. Was it Rick that took one down? You guys went out hunting. I bet you got yours up north in Wisconsin where they roam free, and then and he just took a good shot and got that jackalope, got it mounted to brag about it. They're good eating, man. They're good eating. They're big like an antelope, but they look like, like a rabbit. It's crazy. Oh, his brother got it for you. Got it. You have a sparkly unicorn? Oh, fantastic. And your little brother did the mount. Right, of course. Yeah, of course. I grew up in Texas, and I'd take a LaFuFu over that strange bird anytime. I'll tell you what, I have never seen that Texas turd bird, but I can tell you right now that this is most likely way softer and cuddlier than that Texas turd bird ever can be. Mm-hmm. And cowboys around El Paso put saddles on the local jackrabbits. I've seen postcards. Yeah, no, that's what I'm telling you, man. Those jackalopes get big. Big enough to ride them. They're big as an antelope, right? Yeah, right? Right? All right, well, I can tell you right now where Picola Tea is not. She's not in El Paso. But where might she be now? Well, now, actually, I'm not going to tell you. She might be in the bathroom right now. But in this area, on this day, where might these pictures be? Where is Picola Tea? Where is Picola Tea? Curious as I can be. Where is Picola Tea? Oh yeah, mine has antelope horns. It's not a jackalope unless it's got an antelope horns. TTB, OMG, TTB. Oh, yeah, exactly. Darlene, you are partially correct. Indeed, it is an Alaskan cruise. And this particular city that they're at right now has five cruise ships lined up. You can see them right there, lined up at port. Their cruise ship is the first one, though. But anyone got any idea? So there's their cruise ship. But look at that right there. 5 cruise ships lined up for this little town in Alaska. But anybody got a better idea or more specific idea of where in the world she is? Fairbanks? No. Not the banks of Fair. No. So now I guess it's just a case of guessing Alaskan cities, right? And let's see here. Terry in Scotland. Chris Christopherson was in a movie in which his character stated that there are jackrabbits along the border that can stand flat-footed and screw a Shetland pony. Yeah, I'm not surprised, actually. I've seen some crazy real jackrabbits that are huge. So we're not in the banks of Fair. And I'd say Yakutat, Alaska. That's good that you can say it. I'm not sure I can say it, and that's not right. Unless that's the native word for what we call this city, but I don't think so, because I think Yakutat actually is a real city. Not just another name for the cities, you know? Do you know what I'm talking about? All the other cities in Alaska. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do ya know what I'm talking about? I'll give you a clue. It's not Anchorage, and it's not Ketchikan. Oh, y'all, I told you. I said the word 3 times. I said where she was 3 times, at least. If you know what I'm talking about, and if you've been listening, but I surely know that you've not been listening, because if you'd been listening, you'd know. If you listen, you know what city I was talking about, you know? Oh my gosh, you guys. Pinnell for the win. Pinnell for the win. Did you know? Exactly. There we go. It is, you know, I know. And Mama Sean, I love that sculpture too. I'm assuming you mean the one of the canoe. The totem pole is awesome, but the canoe sculpture is amazing. And so Terry in Scotland coming in with the city and borough of Yakutat as a borough in the state of Alaska. Yakutat was also the name of the former city within the borough. This name in Tlingit is, oh yeah, I'm not going to say that. Yakutat. Sorry, I don't know how to speak Tlingit. So, meaning the place where canoes rest. It's derived from an Ayak name and was influenced by the Tlingit word Yakwa, right. Exactly. Exactly, Rick. I don't know. Do you know? Exactly. So that was our Where in the World is Pecola Tea mystery of the day. I have another mystery for you guys, actually, if you really want. I've got a picture of something. Oh, but before I have a picture of something, here's something that, yeah, exactly. Terry for the win on words that won't be pronounced. Well, you know, I've noticed when it comes to Native American languages, a lot of their letter pronunciations don't match up with English letter pronunciations. And so it's like, well, if I sounded out those letters within my alphabet, I'd say it like this. But since that's not how those letters are sounded out in their alphabet, that's not how you say that. Exactly. I need to brush up on my Tlingit. Abso-flippin-lutely. But here's something that I think none of us need to brush up on. And here's an earworm that I'm going to give you. But I saw this on Facebook today and it made me giggle way too hard. So I'm going to share this with you. Dumbest thing ever? Why, yes. Dumbest thing ever. But is it in your head now? Hey, C Honda, good to see you. Trail Dust is back, bringing fair, less foul air. He's not promising no foul air. He's just promising less foul air. And then I was showing something that was just so stupid. I mean, it was so stupid, but it made me laugh. I can't help it, dude. It made me laugh. Head and shoulders, Nissan toes, Nissan toes. And so I just thought I would let you guys maybe giggle too. Mama Sean thought it was funny. And right, Pinnell, exactly. There maybe are some clicks for the in playing it. Exactly. I don't know, right? I just don't know. And so, so sometimes I just don't even try because it almost seems more respectful not to try than to do whatever it is that I would be doing with that set of letters. Yeah. And, Darlene, oh, it is funny when you just sang it. Well, you know, it just got in my mind as soon as I saw it. I mean, that's what, you know, head and shoulders, Nissan toes, Nissan toes. Anyway, I was just being silly. But it's enough of silliness. Now we need to talk about something serious. We need to talk about something serious. You know what that is? Spam musubi. Look at that spam musubi. Look at that delicious spam musubi. Wait, hold on. And anybody get a guess? Exactly. Anybody get a guess who made that? That's right. It was the Darlene-ster who made that musubi. Now, I personally think that ratio of rice to spam looks absolutely ideal. But I query to you, the musubi eating public in front of the screen. How do you feel about the ratio of spam to rice? Because a lot of times when you buy a musubi, the rice is a lot thicker than what Darlene's got going on there. But personally, when I go to 7-Eleven and get a musubi, I think there's too much rice. I don't like the ratio. It's all rice and just a little bit of the meat. Whereas that's a good thick slice of meat. And then, looks like maybe an inch of, instead of 2 inches, it's just an inch of the rice. I think that looks, yeah. So Terry's saying that he thinks that looks ideal. eMusic says it looks delicious. So everybody else and C Honda looks good. Yeah. So are we all in agreement? That really probably when you're making musubi for your friends and family, not necessarily, to sell to people and you're trying to stretch your dollar, but that looks like a really good ratio. And then, yeah, Rick, I ate some of those. I think the rice spam ratio was 2-to-1. Exactly. And I don't want a 2-to-1 ratio. I don't necessarily need a 1-to-1 ratio, but I would like maybe a 1-to-1.5 ratio kind of thing, And then my next question, and this question is, right, exactly, C Honda, I prefer this ratio. Cheap sellers add too much rice. That's what I'm saying is if you're trying to stretch your dollar and try to make more money off of selling the musubi, then yeah, obviously you're going to add more rice. But if you're serving it to your friends and your family, right? I think that it would, that's a better ratio is what I'm trying to say here. But hold on, wait. Mama Sean, a 4.9 earthquake near Jakarta this morning. I was messaging with my daughter-in-law when it hit just a bit north and west of where she lives. Oh, wow, dude. I hope she's okay. 4.9, luckily, though, isn't as... I mean, it's... 4.9 is nothing to sneeze at. Let me just make that flippin' clear. It is nothing to sneeze at. But it's also not that bad. So, of all... Like, if she had said 5 point something, or God forbid a 6 something, then my level of concern would be significantly higher. But 4.9, that's doable. I say tentatively. And good. She is fine. Good. And, Rick, what do I know? I told her to put the rice on both sides, top and bottom. Well, hey, Rick, I've seen musubi served like that. But all I know is they better have a real thick thing of the Spam in the middle if you're going to be double doing the rice like that. So now my next question, though, for Darlene and for all of you. Darlene, I know you already told me, but you didn't tell them. And also, I can't really remember what you told me, but I know you already told me. Did you dress your rice with any kind of sugar or vinegar? And did you glaze? I do remember this. She did glaze her Spam. What did you glaze it with? Was it just a store-bought teriyaki sauce? Did you make your own teriyaki sauce? So that's a question specifically for Darlene. Question for the rest of all y'all. When you make Spam, how many slices of Spam do you get out of a can to make your Spam? I find 6 is ideal. You get a good hunk of Spam and you're not being chintzy. I go for 6 out of a can. Does anybody else have opinions on that? And sweet rice goes for sushi, maybe. What I do, C. Honda, is I use rice wine vinegar, just a splash of rice wine vinegar in my rice. And because I think that little, just the little vinegariness helps with the sweetness of my glaze. Because my glaze is a mixture of 1 part ketchup, 1 part sugar, 1 part soy sauce, and 1 part beer mixed together with some ginger and garlic, and it's kind of a sweet sauce. So, yeah. And Mama Sean, I use the lines on the Spam. I know exactly what lines you're talking about, and I'm having a conversation with myself, in case you saw one of the words coming out of my mouth. It was similar to fork. It's never occurred to me to do that. But how many lines are there in the can, on the can, Mama Sean? Do you remember? And Terry in Scotland, you think Luke's gets 7, but don't quote me on that. It could be. I have actually tried doing 8, and 8 was just way too thin. And sometimes I feel like 6 is a little bit too thick. So I do think 7 could actually be the ideal. And so, okay, so Darlene, I got 7 slices. Rick had 2 of the slices with some eggs, and you ate 1 with egg. Got it. Okay, so Picola T, you got through security, now you're back. Just so you know, this is what we're talking about now that you're here. By the way, we already talked about you, and we know where you are. But this is what we're talking about right now. How beautiful that ratio of rice to Spam is. And then I'm asking everybody, basically, if and when you make musubi, how many slices of Spam do you get out of 1 can for your musubi? I usually get, I'm satisfied with 6. 6 is what I do. And so, Picola T, curious what you might do, because I have a feeling you might have made 1 or 2 musubis in your life. And then another question that's floating out there is, do y'all glaze? Do you put anything in your rice when you are making your musubi? So these are the topics at hand that we're discussing. Yes. But we don't have to discuss them any further because it is 5:45, which means it is our Lono listening break. And let's see here. Did anyone get a free Spam Musubi on August 8th? No, I didn't because they don't sell them at our 7-Elevens. Habut baby. And, right, so you really only made for Musubis, yes, but they're 4 perfect Musubis. Like, those really look, I mean, they're photography worthy. Your photos, the angles at which you took your photos, yeah, you did good, Darlene. It looks like you did dang good. And Piccolo Tea, yikes. I think 7 slices, and of course marinated in terry sauce. Okay, cool, but Piccolo Tea, anything in your rice? Anything in your rice? Plain rice? Just curious. But like I said, you don't have to answer this right now because we are now officially 1 minute past our Lono listening break. So let's do it.
Okay. Some of my childhood raised here on Molokai, Pu'uohoku Ranch. 14,000 acres, 7,200 head of Charolais brand cattle from Canada. There's a cowboy there, Paniolo, named Imonaki, James Imonaki. One of the oldest cowboys on the ranch. But as a kid, I got to work with him. Putting up fence poles, hanging gates, fixing pipelines. And he kind of talked like this. He talked like this, he got the gravel voice. I'm gonna use his voice on this song. Ana Paula. Let's go, gang. Ana Paula. Ana Paula. Ana Paula, Iluna loa oe Ana Paula. Iluna e oe Ana Paula, Iluna loa oe Ana Paula. Ila lo iho oe Ana Paula, Ila lo loa oe Ana Paula. Lo iho oe Ana Paula, ila lo loa iho Ana Paula. That one? Kalole Ana Paula, esa rica e kalole Ana Paula. E kalole Ana Paula, esa rica e kalole Ana Paula. on, brother.
Take it on. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, now we've got things and stuff we have to deal with. All right, there we go. Okay, so that was their Lono listening break where he told you about how he used to work on the ranch building fences. In fact, he built so many fences that when his fencing coach from high school asked him if he wanted to join the fencing team, he said, "No, I've done enough fencing in my life." Turns out they were talking about different fencing. Yeah. And fun fact, Lono did join the fencing team, and he became a champion of that team. So not only is he a champion fencer, and a singer, and a lifeguard, and he even won a rodeo once, which actually he didn't. As his stepdad said, it was the horse that won it, not him. But whatever. He's got many accomplishments under his belt, as it were. And let's see here. Hold on. I was just going to compliment you on your pronunciation of musubi, but you fell back to your old way. I try. It comes out both ways. Musubi. Is that Musubi? I'm supposed to be musubi, right? God dang it. And let's see here. Yes, pardon me for letting my ignorance hang out, but what is limu and kukui nut? Limu, yeah, is a Hawaiian seaweed, and then the kukui nut is it's the candle nut. Let's see, it's when you see Hawaiian folk wearing that a lei made out of like what almost looks like dark brown shiny rocks. It's actually they're actually polished nuts. That's the kukui nut. And B at the end. Okay, musubi. There we go. I'll keep trying. You keep holding me to it, C Honda. You keep holding me to it. And yeah, kukui nut had multiple purposes, including food and lamp oil. Exactly. And e-music, kukui nut is the inside of the kukui nut lei. And the kukui nut lei, like I said, very poorly, the necklaces that look like they're made of shiny rocks, that's what that is. So there you go. I had no idea that those nuts were in poke though. I assumed that the okay, so for those of you who maybe aren't watching and reading the chat, Picola T was saying that poke that's made with more than 3 or 4 ingredients is just like new style poke. It's kind of a fake, it's imposter poke, I think is what she said. And so I asked her what the main 4 ingredients were. She said fish, salt, limu, and the kukui nut. Fish, salt, limu, and and then maybe soy sauce. And so I just assumed that fish, salt, limu, and soy sauce were the traditional poke stuffuses. I had no idea about that nut being in with the fish. Like I said, I've never had it before because I don't like the texture of raw fish. I don't like the texture of cold smoked fish. I wish that I did, but I just don't. There you go. More for you guys. More for you. If you love poke, come sit next to me. I will give you mine if we're served it, because I really don't want it. And ahi tuna costs about £7 for one steak in Tesco. All right. And we tried a couple of those pokés when on island. It was yummy, says Darlene. Now, Darlene, I don't know what ones you tried. And as someone who admits that they don't eat it, I just don't know. But from what I've heard from multiple sources, and Pocola Tea, Elaine, anybody who's on the island can probably confirm this or deny it. Apparently Foodland has really good poke. Like, that's where the locals go. They don't go to, Joe's Poke Shack or whatever. They go to Foodland for their poke fix. It's apparently cheaper and more deliciouser. And so I'm just curious if those who live on the islands actually agree with this point of view. And yes, Pocola Tea, you and I seem to enjoy opposite foods. Absolutely. We need to come sit next to each other, and that way we can just share it. And let's see. Yep, that's where we got some with our daughter to try a couple different kinds. Perfect. From what I understand, you done good, girl. But I'm not a local, so I can't really confirm or deny that. But that's what I understand the locals do. And the poke places here seem to be Japanese. Hi, Pocola Tea, can you help me here? Is poke Japanese, or is that a Hawaiian concoction? For some reason in my mind, I always sort of assumed it was Japanese to begin with. Just because I guess the raw fish part of it. Right, see Honda, exactly. I don't like poke, but I'm not local. That's kind of how I feel about it. Poke is a Hawaiian word. Okay, e-music. All right, there we go. See, I just sort of assumed it came from Japan. And Pocola Tea coming in with the real deal about Foodland Poke. Foodland has both previously frozen and fresh fish poke. Previously frozen is cheaper, but meh. Poke is Hawaiian, says Pocola Tea. Okay. And now we know. So I guess what you can say there, Pinnell, those Japanese places that serve poke, they're actually Hawaiian Japanese fusion spots. How fancy, it's fusion. And let's see here, Darlene E-Music, yes you did, shared with daughter, so we shared it. Salmon, wild caught poke, yum. And Pocola Tea, says Darlene, we got the fresh and we ate it right away. They knew how to get the good stuff. And let's see here. Poke, Hawaiian for to slice or to cut crosswise into pieces, sometimes written as poke to aid pronunciation as 2 syllables, is a dish of diced raw fish tossed in sauce and served either as an appetizer or main course. Poke means to cut, says Pocola Tea. Got it. And just like lomi means to massage. Because apparently lomi salmon, it's been massaged, I guess. But I was told that lomi means massage. I could be wrong. I probably am. I'm sure lomi has like a million meanings, just like a lot of words have more than one meaning. But apparently that's one of the meanings, I've been told. But I could be wrong. Because the person who told me that definitely is of questionable resource. I mean, he lived in Hawaii for 30 years, but he is Mexican, so I don't really know. Okay, Amy's like, yes, lomi means massage. Okay. All right. Then I guess my source was a little bit correct. Okay. All right, so let's see here. What else? Oh, yes. First off, I have to fix my mouse. My mouse isn't working because it's got cat hair in its eye and it can't see where it wants to go. So there we go. Okay, so Terry in Scotland, lomi massage is a Polynesian method of kneading massage incorporating elements of indigenous religious beliefs. The word lomi comes from the Hawaiian and Samoan languages. Lomi means to knead. The smooth flow of the strokes mimics the ocean waves. It may also mean to take and turn to shift, as in the sacred shift within you that is inspired by the healing Kahuna, spoken twice for emphasis. Okay. And Picola T, Mr. P often asked me to lomi lomi his back. Yes, actually, that was exactly how my friend asked about it, it's if I could lomi lomi his back. That was exactly how that conversation came about. But I didn't mean that I trusted that I knew what he meant, that he knew what he meant, or that he knew what he was saying. All right, so let's see here. Earlier, Mama Sean was talking about some, yes, some cats do their own kind of lomi lomi with their front paws. Absolutely. They are big fans of the lomi lomi, or of making biscuits is what some people call it too. All right, you guys. So, lomi lomi. Let's see here. I like the full body lomi lomi, which is the regular way to receive it. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Are we talking about fish? Let's see here. So, we had to step away, Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday. Oh no, we had to stop. Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday just had a tragedy. We had to step away. Mrs. was laughing so hard she rubbed her eyes with jalapeno fingers. She's not Mexican. She doesn't know these things. Oh, honey bunches, you don't need to be Mexican to know. You just have to remember. There's a couple things you don't do with jalapeno fingers. First off, rubbing your eyes. Second off, going to the bathroom. Neither of these things you do with jalapeno fingers. I really do hope. Really do hope that she's okay. And I have no idea. What do you do when you have jalapeno fingers in your eye? When you have jalapeno in your tongue, you pour milk on it, it makes it go away. Do you pour milk on your eyes? I don't think pouring milk on your eyes sounds like a good idea. But, you know. And yeah, rinse, exactly. Eye rinse. Lots and lots of eye rinse. And Pinnell, you've got lots of holes in shirts from Cat Lomi Lomis. Yes, as do I. As do I. And it's sad too, because it's like, or it's not really sad. What am I trying to say? What I'm saying is the shirts that have holes in them, I still wear them. So it's kind of sad because people probably think I can't afford a new shirt, but it's like, no, I just really like this new shirt and my cat ruined it, but I still like it, so I'm still gonna wear it. Rinse, wait, cold pack. There you go. Yes, wear gloves when chopping chilies for that reason, precisely. And oh my God, oh Terry, I don't even want to read what you just wrote because if you're watching the screen right now, you can see what it just did to me. Oh, Terry. Oh. 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 In case you aren't reading the chat, what Terry just said was, I squirted vape juice in my eyes thinking it was eye drops. Why is this stuff burning so much? He asked. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna calm down, okay? I need to just calm down. Because that hurt me to my own soul. And I don't even vape. I don't even have eye drops. I don't even eat chilies. But everything about what you said, Terry, just, ugh. And Picola T, it's awful too when jalapeno gets under your fingernails from chopping the peppers. Yes, I bet that would. Or if you've got a cut on your finger, like, I don't know if you can see that cut. I can. That would probably hurt too, which is why Mama Sean, in her Arizona wisdom, knows how to deal with peppers. And she deals with them by wearing gloves. And I think that that's probably the best idea. And do I eat bagels, cream cheese, and lox, or does that texture bother you? That sounds terrible. Terry, I'm assuming that you're asking me about the bagels, cream cheese, and lox. If the lox is mixed in with the cream cheese, then I have no problem eating it, because at that point the texture isn't raw fishy. But when it comes to the slices of lox, I absolutely will not. No, I can't. It's the texture. Like I said, it's the texture. It's not the flavor. The flavor's good. I wish I could eat a hunk of it because the flavor is delicious, but the texture is just not what I want in my mouth. I had some cold smoked steelhead just on Monday, and it was so melted in your mouth, buttery, soft, delicious. It tasted so good, but after like 2 tiny little bites of it, I wanted to eat more of it for the flavor, but I just couldn't handle the texture on my tongue. I just couldn't, it just, So yeah, it's definitely not the flavor. It's the texture. Yeah, no sliminess for me. I no likey. So once again, come sit next to me if there's anything like that. And trail dust. It's getting so cold out at 74 that you need to warm up with some herbal tea, huh? All right, you poor cold 74 degree soul. And Darlene, it's supposed to get cooler the next few nights into the low 60s. Oh, that's so beautiful. And mid 70s during the day, a relief from all that heat and humidity we had for a stretch. Yeah, low 60s, mid 70s, sign me up. I am all for that weather. And, oh, good. Laughing makes me tear up. Rinsing your eyes further, getting better. Good. And, Terry in Scotland, so I know like okra, I take it. Yeah, oh, flippin', heck to the no. Definitely no okra. I mean, Verity Hunt, hey, Verity, good to see you. Mash it together with potatoes. I don't know if you're talking about the okra, but that possibly would be a way I could consider it because the potato probably would deactivate the slime. But y'all, do you know that okra and gumbo, or gumbo is actually another word for okra apparently? And okra is the main thickening agent in gumbo. Let me rephrase that. The slime from the okra is mainly the thickening agent for gumbo. And if you have gumbo with no okra in it, it's called filet gumbo. Oh, Verity, the fish in... Oh, well, yeah, I could eat fish with the potatoes. That sounds delicious. I have no problem. You could put pretty much anything in potatoes, and I'd be like, all right, let's do that. Come on. I'm from Ireland and Scotland. I'm white. I love the potatoes. I love the white taters. Not the sweet taters, just the white taters. And our lows this week are in the 80s. Oh, Mama Sean, you're just so normal, and that sounds so normal to you, and it just sounds so nightmarish to me. But I'm glad you love where you live, because somebody's got to do it. And yeah, low of 16. So yes, double 16 is 32. Add 30, that's 62. So yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds, I would definitely be keeping my windows open. Pinnell. Because that would be the perfect breeze to come in and cool me off. And let's see here. Smash my fish into the taters. I could do that. If we had to force Sate's secrets out of natto, out of Statter, I'd threaten her with natto, fermented, slimy, stinky soybeans. I am fairly certain I wouldn't last very long with a threat like that. Like, I would for sure... Yeah, I would be spilling all the secrets. If natto probably is all it would take to get me to spill them. You're right. Yeah, Andy Bumatai does love natto, he says. But Andy also is weird. But so am I, and so everybody's allowed to be weird. That's why Andy should sit next to me if you're being served natto. Picola tea on one side, Andy on the other, and they can each split it. I have no problem. I will share my natto with anyone who wants. I'm generous like that. It's all good. Not loving the highs right now, says Mama Sean, but you'll take this over snow. Fair enough. Fair enough. And actually, speaking of snow and something that Mama Sean mentioned earlier, which is earthquakes. Earthquakes, they have been happening all around the Ring of Fire, as it were. Earthquakes, volcano eruptions, tsunamis as a consequence, etc., etc. Well, lots and lots of folks, because I live in the Seattle area, lots and lots of folks have, tagged me and messaged me with like, oh my God, Mount Rainier, they've got a swarm of earthquakes happening on Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier, it's looking like it's coming alive again. Mount Rainier, are you afraid if Mount Rainier does anything that you'll be blah, blah, blah? Are you going to be okay if Mount Rainier? So, I want to show you guys Mount Rainier. All right, y'all. So, here is, if you can believe it, here's a map. I know. Who would have thought? All right, so if you can believe it, here's a map. That green blob in the mid right-hand side, yeah, that's Mount Rainier. That's the actual volcano, okay? Now, you can see all those like yellow lines coming off of the mountain? Those are all rivers that flow basically into the Puget Sound or eventually out to the ocean. Where those yellow things are, that's where there's a lahar risk. And for those of you who don't know what a lahar is, the lahar is all of the melted snow that has liquefied with an explosion from the heat, that has mixed with the mud and the trees and the everything, and basically turns into this rolling natural cement flowing down the rivers at catastrophic miles per hour. Every place that there is yellow, there is a possibility where a lahar mudslide could literally, Pompeii us, just take us down and cover us up real darn quick. Boom. If you go a little further to the north, you'll see a purple area. That's going up towards Seattle, and that isn't going to have lahar risk, but it has, it's just going to flood with water. It's just going to be a bunch of water flooding from the snow that has been liquefied with a tree and rock filling. Exactly. And so, if you look, so follow that little purple line almost to the top, and then just at the very, very top there, I put in a little red dot, sort of in the upper left-hand area. It's a tiny little dot, kind of near the coast, but kind of not, south of Seattle. That's where I live. And that's about 300 feet above sea level. So as you can see, there's nothing that's going to hit me. So I'll, in theory, quote unquote, be fine. But what it is going to do is, as you can see, with where that purple streak is, that's I-5 also. Like I-5 is right there. So it's going to just mess up I-5 down in Olympia, down in Tacoma, and then on the way to Seattle. It's absolutely going to mess up the main freeway, which means it'll be difficult to get supplies to my area. But as far as like me, as far as I'm, my home, as Picolati said, I've got nothing to worry about. If there's any volcanic eruptions, Saturn doesn't have to worry much. It's the folks who live on the rivers that headed to sea that have to worry. Exactly. And let's see here. I don't know what Terry in Scotland just posted. It was some Facebook reel, but it looks like it is a live link if you copy and paste the whole thing. Terry, what is that reel for? what is that Facebook that you just posted? And let's see here. Oh, the link, that link is a whale rescue. Oh, okay. All right. If you want to check out that, that'll be something to check out here. And then Darlene saying, sounds really scary. Way to go, though. Glad you'll be safe, though, but getting supplies through rough. Yeah, and ultimately, you know, Seattle only has so many streets that go into, so many freeways that go into it. So earthquake, gonna mess those up. Volcano eruption, gonna mess those up. So any kind of natural disaster, I anticipate the freeway system will probably be hit. And so there you have it. And Verity, the poor animals and river folk. Yes, indeed. In fact, there's a place just southeast of here where if you go into the Kent River Valley, suddenly you're like in this lower flattened area, and then suddenly the land just like rises up out of the valley floor hundreds of feet. Like I would say 400 or 500 feet. Just boom, a hill is there. And what that is that's the remnants of the last lahar. And that's how far it flowed. So imagine a 500-foot tall wave of concrete, liquid concrete, crashing down the valleys until it gets to the riverbed. We still have that evidence here. If you go up to Buckley or Lake Tapps, which none of these things mean anything to you, but you're gonna have to cross the Kent Valley, and then on the other side of the Kent Valley, you're gonna have to go up this it's almost a vertical hill. I mean, but they switchback it, and that is actually from an eruption that took place on Mount Rainier. And if I had a picture of Mount Rainier ready to go up, I don't. I could show you the exact spot on the mountain where it still has a mark basically on the side of the mountain where you can see that whole side just collapsed, and all of that debris that used to be on that mountain that you can see with your naked eye from hundreds of miles away, you can see it just fell and flowed down to create this lahar. And so, yeah, it's horrifying. Like, to be in that river, to be in that trajectory. Luckily, in this day and age, we'll have plenty of time. I was about to say we'll have plenty of time for people to evacuate, but as we've seen, when everybody evacuates and there's only 2-lane highways, there's only so fast it can go. And so, yeah, it's landslides. Yeah, it's gonna, if a lahar happens, the people in the river valleys are at a huge, huge risk. And, yeah, you know, you guys, I've been meaning to take a drive up that lahar, Phil, just to show you guys just how much. And so, after we've had this conversation, I'm going to try to remind myself to like go take that trip for you guys so you can see. You go down a little bit, just a little bit, you go down into the valley, and then you have to go, whoa, way back up. And all of that is just lahar. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hardened now. And in fact, actually, that part of of King County, shockingly enough, some of the most amazing agricultural farmlands. Oh, the soil there is just beautiful. Excellent place to grow stuff. So it's a little cold. It's got a little bit of a colder growing season because it's higher up. But the soil there, whoo, boy, howdy. And Verity, yeah, I remember Mount St. Helens too. Mother Nature, woohoo, exactly. And yeah, and so Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday, you'd never heard of a lahar before. As a child, I think I was like 6 when Mount St. Helens blew up. And coming from Hawaiian Islands, I always heard of volcanoes as erupting with lava. And so when a volcano erupts, red lava comes out. That's how volcanoes erupt, right? I'm 6. This is what I think. So when Mount St. Helens blew up and there was no red lava, it was a very disappointing eruption as far as I was concerned. I didn't understand. Why do we care about all of this muddy water that's flying down the mountain? Why do we care? And my mom had to explain to me, that's boiling hot water with mud. It's like cement, and it's coming at you at 50 miles an hour, and it's tearing trees down and taking the mountains with it. That's how volcano eruptions look in other places. And so all of that sediment that comes down that's not lava, that's a lahar. And so I learned about lahars. When Mount St. Helens blew up and Gall dung it, I was just not impressed. 6-year-olds really don't understand things. Because it is kind of impressive. And yeah, St. Helens was the month after we got married, says Mama Sean. We got ash all over the car. We were living in Monroe at the time. Yes. And Terry in Scotland, naked sock puppets next. I don't know if we have time for another naked sock puppet installment. But we do have enough time for one more little thing, which is, actually, gosh, I've got 2 more things that I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys this. So, we're talking about big sand right now, and this is a clue. We're talking about big stuff, volcanoes, big stuffuses, big. Now we're going to wind it back. We're going to... Yeah, actually, no, we're going to keep talking about Mount St. Helens, apparently. Yeah, Monroe ash, not surprised. Ashfall in Southern California, I had no idea it got that far south, Verity. I knew that it went south. Where I lived in the Kitsap Peninsula at the time, we didn't get any ash, and I was so bummed. My parents, on the other hand, were delighted. But my cousins who lived in Spokane, they were, sending us pictures and things, or sent us pictures. And at noon, the ash cloud was like covering the sky so much that it was pitch black out. And they ended up with like inches of ash on their cars. And apparently the volcano ash is kind of, it's not just sandy, but it's kind of sticky sand. And so the moment it gets in your air filters in your car is effed. Basically, for lack of a better term, I guess the ash was a huge ordeal for those who did get it. And let's see here. Right, Picola T. Decades ago, I visited mud baths in Vietnam with some other gals. Had a heck of a time pulling ourselves out of neck-deep mud. Easy to understand how dinosaurs and all got trapped in mud flows. Yeah, because once they get that suction cup action, because mud really does have a way to just have a suction cup action on your skin, and you just having to pull. I mean, I can only assume that most of you have lost a boot in a mud puddle, right? Because the mud puddle ate your boot and suction cupped it, and you just walked right out of your boot, right? And imagine being your whole body like that. And E-Music, yeah, Hawaii has ash from Japan. That it doesn't really surprise me, because once it gets up in the stratosphere, it can catch a high-speed bullet train from up in the air from here to China or from here to New York. So I'm not surprised at all that Hawaii gets Japan ash. And Darlene, that stuff is dangerous. You have to be very careful not to get any of that in your lungs and any air vents, like you said. Cars. Cars trashed, exactly. And Terry, I'm not at all surprised that most of the cars in Pompeii absolutely got lost. I'm sure they were, the cars in Pompeii were a total loss, total write-off. The car insurance companies in Pompeii at that time absolutely went bankrupt because all of those vehicles were totaled. Every single one of them was unable to be used again. All right, you guys. So here's one last little thing that I wanted to show you. Why? I just thought it was kind of neat. And I thought I'd throw this out, and I'm going to call it mystery. And I just want you guys to know, what do you think this is? Any guesses on what do you think you're looking at right here? You're looking at 3 different things, actually, and I think that you could probably assume that because there's 3 different things on this screen. And out of curiosity, I just am curious, from the Departmency of Redundancy Department, what do you guys think any of these things might be? I just thought it was a really cool picture, and I've got more pictures. Rick, you are partially right-ish. Wood, amber, not sure what the blue stuff is. Amber? Nope, not amber. But y'all are in the right vicinity. How about this one? Does that help you? That's the same stuff, only I think maybe a different angle, and also a little further up, a little further out. Little further out. And all right, here we go, Verity. Spacerite garnet and hummingbird wings or Baytull wings. Terry in Scotland, is that a grain of sand? Indeedly-do. That is a grain of sand. That is a garnet. It is one singular garnet grain of sand. And these are not wings. They're the scales off of a butterfly. Scales off of a butterfly. And one grain of sand balanced on the tip of an injection needle. The kind of needles that your dentist uses to inject you with Novocaine. This photographer got a couple of those needles unused and decided to take a picture, and he just happened to have these things on hand. And so you're looking at the scales. So you know the little fuzz, if you accidentally touch a moth or a butterfly, you know the fuzz that comes off on your fingers, which apparently is very painful for the butterfly. That's what that fuzz looks like in microscopic form. I don't think Rick, good question, who would scale a butterfly? I don't think that this was, I think that the scales came off of a dead butterfly, and so he just have, I don't know. I do have questions about that. And Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Party, lies! This is all lies! And let's see here. Dragonflies and ambers. Yeah. So why did I show you these pictures? Just because I thought it was a neat picture. And now that we're talking about who killed the butterfly, I realize it's kind of a dark and depressing picture. Okay, fine. But but I didn't mean for it to be dark and depressing. I meant for it to be beautiful and colorful. And Pacola butterflies have scales, so they must have thousands on their body to give them lift when flying. Yeah, it's the little fuzzy stuff when you on the wings that are, I guess, scales. And you know, I don't know if I don't actually know. Here's the deal, y'all. The photographer referred to them as butterfly scales off a butterfly wing. I don't actually know if, scientifically speaking, they're considered true scales. He just might have said they looked like scales on a microscopic sense, so that's what he called them. I don't actually know if, scientifically speaking, they are. I don't know if you told an entomologist that butterflies have scales, he might just be like, "What have you been smoking?" and get out of my office with it, because it could be wrong. But either way, if nothing else, it's the dust from the butterfly wing. A tear for the butterfly, exact. A tear. I don't know if you mean a tear or a tear there, C. Honda, but either way is right. And what did Rick say? Yeah, okay, who killed the butterfly? Yeah, exactly. It's a valid question. I can't answer it. And it looks like a pretty little microscopic gem grain, and the blue looks pretty colorful. It's a cool, unusual picture. Yes, it totally is. And apparently, there's a beach in Oregon where those little microscopic garnets are really prolific. And this particular photographer, he really likes taking pictures of the little garnets. And he's definitely taken more than one, and they've definitely crossed my feed before. But I thought that one was really, really, really beautiful. And the ultimate insult, butterfly murderer. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. All right, so on that note, it is time to wrap it up because it's 1 minute past the bottom of the hour. And now that we realize that there's a butterfly murderer out there, we better close up shop and go looking. We better go hunting for the buffalo murderer. We were talking about butterflies, not buffaloes. So why don't we go hunt for the butterfly murderer instead? All right, excellent. So hopefully everyone will, who's thinking of calling someone a butterfly murderer? I don't know when that insult will come out, but seriously, Pinnell, I am going to be stealing it from Cola Tea and using it because it's beautiful. So, I believe this is the mid of the week for most of us. So, happy rest of the week. It's all downhill from here. Hopefully we'll see each other on Friday at Andy Blumenthal's show, if he has a show. And if we don't see each other then we'll hopefully see each other on the movie channel. That would be Map Statter. Ooh, that was a good pop. Map Statter on Twitch. And I'm not sure what movie you're going to watch, so I'm not going to tell you. And that's just, there we go. And Picola Tea, has anyone seen David Haas photos of Microsoft shells on Facebook? So pretty. No, I haven't, unless this guy is the same guy that I think the name sounds familiar, and now I'm looking it up. Okay, maybe I don't know who we're talking about. Okay, I don't think I know who we're talking about, so never mind. I'll have to go check. And C Honda, yes, Andy is supposed to be on Friday. Okay, C Honda, while you're here, did I totally have a brain fart, or was there a vague chance that there could have been an Andy show yesterday and then he chose not to? Or was there never gonna be one yesterday? Because I had it in my mind that there was supposed to be one, and then it didn't. And I absolutely, I was wrong. Okay, cool. And oh my God, what? Photo Luke is on? How long has Photo Luke been on? Wait, okay, cool, completely wrong. I love it when I've confirmed that I was wrong. All right, so wait, Luke is on. So yeah, we can totally raid, because I just didn't know. I didn't realize he was going to be on this early. How long has he been on? And is he really on? Because I don't have... Oh my God! Hold on. Let me make sure everything's all connectable. Oh. Wait. I don't think Photo Luke is on. Okay, David is Hamajong. Okay, yeah, okay, no, then I have been seeing his, okay, then I have been seeing David Haas's photos, because he is one of my friends on Facebook already. All right, but, check Andy's Twitch schedule, says show Friday at 3 Turtles. Okay, cool. 5 p.m. Hawaii time, as usual. Oh, so he's not on right now. Okay, cool. So Photo Luke will be on at 5 p.m. Hawaii time, which is what I was hoping he was going to be on. Fantastic. Okay. Well, y'all, we're wrapping it up. We're not going to be waiting for an hour and a half. So we're not going to be rating Luke, because he's not on to be rated. If he was, we would be rating him, but he's not, so we're not. And there you go. All right. So now that we've got that kerfuffle taken care of, it is truly time to say goodbye. Hopefully we'll see each other Friday. If not, hopefully we'll see each other Saturday. And if not, hopefully we'll see each other on Sunday. But before all of that, maybe we'll see each other on Luke's show in about an hour and a half. All right, cool. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Had a good time. I hope you did too. Don't be a butterfly murderer.